The 20th ASEAN Summit has drawn to a close, with several agreements signed and leaders showing more enthusiasm about the integration of the ASEAN community as they meet ever so frequently. 10 years ago, Cambodia took over the chair of ASEAN for the first time, only a couple years since it has joined the grouping. Back then, Phnom Penh was hardly seen as the place welcoming heads of states and diplomats, as the city was left devastated after decades of war. Today, Cambodia is certainly more confident in its chairmanship of ASEAN under the leadership of Prime Minister Hunsen, who has been in power for over 30 years.
Well, I think Hunsen certainly sees himself as the senior statesman for the region. He feels he's been in power for much longer than anyone else, and that the region ought to give him that kind of respect. He's been upstaged in the past, particularly by Abhisit when he was Prime Minister and Thaksin when he was Prime Minister, both relatively newcomers as far as Hun Sen's concerned. So in fact, Hun Sen is basking in what he sees as reflected glory here at.
However, Southeast Asian expert Larry Jagan believes that behind that glory is the issue of South China Sea dispute that dominated the ASEAN Summit's agenda, which remains peculiar given the visit of Chinese President Hu Jintao prior to the gathering, and raised doubt on Cambodia's sincerity in finding a consensus with its neighboring colleagues. On other issues, Myanmar's by-election, which took most of the limelight from the ASEAN leaders' gathering, was also recognized as another milestone for the bloc to claim part of the credibility that they have helped to push Myanmar towards this achievement. Larry said for the first time, Myanmar is no longer deemed as a millstone for ASEAN. Nevertheless, there is no doubt that Hun Sen's role as this year's ASEAN chair has brought pride to many Cambodians.
When the Cambodia become to ASEAN, so the Cambodian people, we don't know about how the importance of become to ASEAN association. So the first time during the year 2012, year 2002, after 4 or 5 years, Cambodia became the ASEAN member. So we had the chair of ASEAN during the time. So the different from during the time until now, the Cambodian people very proud to the Cambodia and very proud to the my Prime Minister Samdech Hun Sen. So now the Cambodian people very congratulations that Cambodia become the chair of the ASEAN Summit.
Despite that, most journalists have voiced their opinion similarly that the agendas in this ASEAN Summit were rather mild and did not have anything new on the discussion table.
I've been to ASEAN Summits for decades, literally decades. This has to be one of the most boring ASEAN Summits I've been to. I think part of the problem is that ASEAN played a very important function in the past in providing a talk shop for the leaders of the region to get together and to talk informally as well as formally, understand each other, perhaps come to terms with some bilateral issues. I have no doubt that some conflicts in the region have been resolved as a result of ASEAN. But I think now ASEAN meets too often. We have 3 key ASEAN meetings a year. That's been the case now for nearly 3 years. And it's too much. And when I talk to some ASEAN diplomats, they say the same thing.
ASEAN TV, Phnom Penh.